finally got another big knock on the door. It came from a guy named Stone Cold Steve Austin.
Yeah.
Wow. And he said, hey, Brian, I don't know what you've been doing, but I got this weightlifting belt. It belonged to your dad. I want to send it over to you.
Should we tell people how this all went down? That you're this was supposed to happen an hour ago.
Yeah.
And when I texted you, I was like, "Hey, do you think we could?" Originally, I was like, "Hey, do you think we can do this at like 10 in the morning?" You're like, "Dude, waking up early, man." So I'm like, "All right, let's push it back to 11." And apparently, 11 was too early for you too.
Just a little bit.
Yeah,
by about an hour.
Yeah, because at 11:15, when I texted you and you didn't answer, I called you and you're like, "Oh, dude, my alarm didn't go off."
I set my alarm for 10 and 10 didn't happen. So here we are.
What do you must have gone to bed real late.
Yeah, I'm always up at all hours of the night.
Like, what time do you normally go to bed?
Stuff. Sometimes 5 a.m.
5 a.m.
Sometimes 9.
Doing what?
Well, when you're Brian Pillman Jr., there's a lot of important stuff to do.
You live the gimmick.
I
feel like I got to get a good
different parties, we got to get
good stance in there. No, you got a good stance.
You got to get a power pose.
Good shirt, by the way.
So,
look at that.
Oh, that?
Yeah.
Oh, that's just my new shirt. Nothing too crazy.
Yeah, no big deal. What's going on in this shirt?
Brian Pillman Jr.
Yeah.
This is the inspiration from Dragon Ball Z, for those of you that are aware.
Is this senior above here?
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
That is Brian Pillman Sr.
Yeah.
And that there is the mullet god, Brian Pillman Jr.
That's what we should be announcing.
King of the mullets.
The mullet god.
Yes.
Yeah.
Many followers.
It's been almost a year since you were on the show last, and at that point you had just celebrated your 1-year WrestleVersary, is what we called it.
That's crazy to think about. That I did this interview with you a year.
Yeah, it was last December.
Well, we were in Miami.
That's right. Yeah, we'll link that below. Now we're in Northern Kentucky, Cincinnati, basically.
Why are we here? What on earth contains this terrible city?
You live here. This is terrible?
That's right, I do. Actually, no, this is what I call home.
Yeah.
And this is a great place to live, a great place to raise a family, a great place to travel in and out of.
Yeah.
And I think you really enjoy living here.
Yeah, I now
you live
here.
in a much nicer part than I do.
Yeah, I don't know about that. What city do you live in?
I live in Covington.
Covington.
But I grew up in Erlanger and Edgewood.
Yeah, okay.
Edgewood being the nicer part of that. But, yeah, I went to Dixie Heights High School.
Mm-hmm.
Played football. I was the captain of the lacrosse team.
Man.
Of course, lacrosse being a newer sport around here. There
yes.
weren't any other captains, so they were like, "Oh, you're captain."
They're like, "Yeah, well, you're good enough. Sure,
you're
why
a
not?"
Huge athlete, you should.
What position did you play in football?
I was for the longest time, I was like a linebacker, but as I found that nobody wanted to play D-line, and I was a pretty tough son of a gun, so by the time I was a senior, I was like, look, I'll just be a lineman. I'll smack these guys around, and then it worked.
Didn't you want to score, though?
The tenacity. So I actually picked up a fumble. Or no, I blocked a punt from Highlands, your school. This is the
my school.
Yeah,
I'm from Canada.
Like people, so where he lives.
Oh, okay.
Is where all what we call the cake eaters would go
Ooh.
to school because they're the rich kids that go to Highlands. Of course, this is his neighborhood. And I remember they were the best team ever, right? They had 120 kids on the team. Couldn't beat them because their roster was so deep. There was nothing you could do. Kids paid tuition. They flew in to go to Highlands because it was an independent school. And you had to either live in the area and pay super taxes or you had to pay tuition. And a lot of kids did. A lot of kids went to school there just to play football. And so it was a big moment for me. I blocked a punt.
Yeah.
I picked it up.
Wow.
But I was so excited. I didn't score. I don't know. I couldn't, pick up the ball. It went out of bounds. I was like, no, but I blocked it. Blocked the punt, but the next play my team scored. So that's my touchdown.
All because of you.
I claimed the touchdown.
Yeah.
Those are my points. Defensive points,
So if it's been a year, what do you think's really changed for you professionally in that last year?
Definitely my hair. My hair is
yes,
it's gone through some evolutions.
It's getting even more mullety.
Well, you got to freshen it up. You got to sharpen it up because if you let it get too out of hand, it's no longer a mullet, and then you start to kind of disrespect where the mullet has come from, the history of it, why it exists, and things like that. Like, if my hair is getting so long on top and it starts falling in my face, Well, that defeats the whole purpose.
It's not a mullet.
Purpose. Yeah. The functionality of a mullet is to keep the hair out of your eyes, ladies and gentlemen. And that's why athletes, you see them utilize it most. This isn't just some random 80s fad trend, okay? This is a functionality thing. I'm a yoga specialist.
You are? Yeah, which is crazy. I don't think people realize, like people that don't know you that well don't realize there's a lot more to BPJ, as we coined in the last interview, Brian Pillman Jr., than just the in-ring stuff.
Yeah.
You said you have boxing. Was it last night you had boxing?
Yeah, I had a pretty good training day yesterday. So every Tuesday, you come off the road. Maybe you're jet lagged Monday. Maybe Monday you go to the gym, get a pump in. But Tuesday I got a really good functional day. I went to boxing with Rob Radford. For all of you who don't know, is a professional boxing coach with over 30 years of experience, based out here in Cincinnati. Also trained a couple of guys by the names of Low Key.
Oh, I think I've heard of him.
I think there's a guy that he trains. His name's Jake Hager.
Wow.
So I'm in pretty good. I'm in pretty good hands being here in Cincinnati.
Yeah.
Learning how to fight.
So that, along with the yoga, like I feel like they're complete ends of the spectrum.
Oh no! You would be surprised at how much yoga fits in with combat sports.
Oh, yeah?
So much because of the breathing and the flexibility. My other trainer, Josh Radford, he even claims that yoga is its own martial art because of just how deadly it is. The things that you learn in yoga, the amount of patience and that killer instinct that you can get just by controlling your breath. Right.
Yeah.
So then after that, after I did all my fitness and boxing stuff, I went over to Roger Ruffin's pro wrestling school right here in Cincinnati as well. So helping out some of the young kids with their strikes and with their grappling, and obviously I'm going to pick up a few of them and bump them around for my own personal gain. But that's neither here nor there.
I feel like I should step in there. I should pay a visit.
Yeah, we'll get you over there.
I bumped a little bit.
We'll chop you up a little bit. We'll bump you around.
Okay.
We'll teach you the ropes, just in case. You never know. A company might say, hey, CVV, we need to bump you.
Yeah,
we need to kick your butt a little bit because these fans have been yelling at you. They don't like you. You're a piece of garbage.
Why are you kind of promo on me now?
Hey, that's life.
No.
I wake up every morning and cut a promo. When I wake up, I look in the mirror and I cut a promo to start my day.
Look in the camera right now and cut that promo that you cut on yourself.
Hey, you're the champ. Each and every day, never forget it.
Wow.
Every morning.
I got to start. Wow.
Yeah. See how fired up I am now?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Woo! I'm fired up now.
I'm going to go steal a horse.
That's okay.
Yeah.
That's
in Kentucky, you can steal people's horses and shit.
Completely legal to steal horses?
Well, no.
Oh, we're stealing them. Yeah. Okay.
It implies we're breaking the law, but it's a great way to make extra money on the side.
To steal horses.
Yeah, what do they call those? Cowboys?
That's what they call them. Yeah, that's what you're doing here.
I'm a cowboy.
Yeah. I actually wanted to be a pro wrestler my entire growing up. I went to wrestling school when I was 18. When was it for you that you were like, okay, this is it. This is what I'm going to do?
There's a couple focal points. Obviously when I was 5 years old, rolling around with Rey Mysterio and Rico and guys like that. First time being in the ring, that was like, okay, maybe I'm going to do this one day, right?
Yeah.
But not really knowing the implications of that, not really knowing the impact of those who were around me because I was 5 or 6 years old. I went back to playing with toys and doing whatever. You get to be 9 or 10, 11, start asking questions like, well, Mom, what happened to all those wrestlers we used to hang out with? This, that, and the other. And then it was always like, no, son, wrestling will kill you. It's bad. It does drugs all the time. And then I was like, oh, man, all right, I won't do wrestling. And then I was like 13, and I was like, you know what? I'm going to be a wrestler, but I'm not going to tell anybody for a while. And then I went to school. They told me again, because they don't want you to win, right? The world doesn't want you to do cool shit. They're like,
well, they
go to college and blow all your money and give it to Uncle Sam. So
they want the safe bet. Go get a 9-to-5 job, pay your taxes. Yeah.
And little did I know that was probably the worst thing I could have done. We'll get back to that, but it was not the personality choice for my career, right? So I went in, I got the degree, right? College was a breeze for me. For some people, it's a huge challenge, but some of us have more gifts than others, right? I was pretty good at school because I could do it like that. I didn't have to, I didn't have to do a lot of studying, right? I have a very good memory.
Sure.
So after college, got a job right out of college, like the last day of school, NKU, right here by your house. They were like, yeah, everything that you do is what we need. I was like, oh, great, okay. They're like, yeah, so we'll just hire you now. I was like, oh, shit, I'm still in school. They were like, we don't care.
And what was the job?
It was I was a client technical analyst for a company called CDK Global out here in Norwood, which was kind of cool with my story, too, because my dad grew up in Norwood. So that part of town, he's like a local legend, right? So like, I'm seeing all these posters, things. I toured the high school. There's a bunch of plaques and shit of them. So it was a cool little. That was like, that's why I was saying like everything that happened in a reason, because if I didn't get that job to then go to Norwood to then see what my history's all about with my family, it might not have inspired me to really get out there and be a wrestler. But just going through, seeing all these plaques, seeing all these accolades, and then like clocking in like at 9, like, okay, well, this is my life. Like I was good at my job.
Well, 11 a.m. was too early this morning, so I don't know how you woke up for that job.
Exactly. I was, to put it this way, I was a completely different person. It was just like technology and like
probably didn't have a mullet.
I didn't have a mullet. My strength was low. Didn't have all these muscles, you know.
So what was the catalyst to make you go, you know what? I want to do that. I want to follow my dad's footsteps. Did you call a wrestling school? Did you email some places? How'd that work?
Yeah, just like I said, it kept knocking on my door, man. It was just like, are you there, Brian? Hey, there's a career waiting for you in this business. You know, you're made for this shit. Yeah, it was. I just finally got another big knock on the door. It came from a guy named Stone Cold Steve Austin.
Yeah,
wow. And he said, hey, Brian, I don't know what you've been doing, but I got this weightlifting belt. It belonged to your dad. I want to send it over to you. And I said, oh, shit, Steve, that's it's pretty damn cool. It's probably the coolest thing I've ever heard in my life. You know, and I look at Twitter, and I'm like, okay, it's really him. Like, this is a shoot, right? And that kind of conversation, those stories that he presented me with about my father, and I'm 23 at this time, so I'm like, all right, I got my big boy job, but like I'm like, this is not me. Like I'm at that crossroads again. So like I said, a lot of these signs, a lot of these calls that are coming to me are almost perfect timing.
Yeah.
And it was just that storm of emotions and thinking about my dad and thinking about my mom and how she never kept my ties close. And then it hit me. It was like, no one's just going to come in and tap me on the shoulder and then say, here's your training, right?
Sure.
I had to go out and get it.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter if you're Pillman Jr., doesn't matter if you're Ric Flair Jr., doesn't matter who you are.
Yeah.
Wrestling will not come and get you. You have to go and get wrestling. And that was the big light bulb in my head, was as long as I do chase it, as long as I do put in the work, it will give back to me. But if I just sit in school and wait, like, and I'm not pointing anybody out because I did the same thing, but some of these second gen guys might feel that way, that they're kind of owed it to them, like they deserve to be reached out and brought in and trained up. But in all reality, that's never how it is in wrestling. Wrestling's always been about paying your dues, chasing it down. And I said, screw it, I'm going to do all the research I can, reach out to everyone I can, and just get the best training I can. That way nobody can deny me, you know what I mean? If I just half-assed it, waited on somebody to bring me in, maybe the local guy trains me up, okay. But what kind of service am I doing to the business that way? Or I could really, maybe take out some money, invest, go to Canada, live for 3 months.
Well, you went to...
That sounds like a good idea.
Arguably the best training in Canada, if not in the world. You went to Lance Storm, who's actually closing his doors after this next session, which is crazy.
Well, he ultimately decided he produced the single most greatest star that he could ever produce. So.
This is it, ladies and gentlemen.
So he was like,
"It doesn't get any better than this."
He was like, "Well, better close our doors. Go out on top, as we say. Always go out on top."
That's a big move, though, to go from Northern Kentucky to go to Canada, a different country, to go to Calgary.
Yeah.
And sign up there, and I believe they put you up there, right? Like when you want to go, he finds you a place to stay, right?
Oh, he finds you a super cheap place to rent. Lance does have his own little house. Suits about 5 wrestlers. I really enjoyed it. It was cool hanging out there. But I personally stayed with a different lady, someone who he contracted out to.
This is like a billet, I think.
Yeah, like a satellite apartment somewhere. But it's cheaper to stay because it's for the school, and it worked out for a lot of us. And like I said, that everything worked out proper because that 9 to 5 job I had, that big boy corporate job, they gave me severance when they laid me off. So it was like, oh, I'll just pay
They
for my
laid you
training
off?
with this. Yeah, they laid me off at the perfect time.
Wow.
Yeah.
Your life is a series of these perfect events,
Yeah.
all lining themselves up.
That started with a bunch of shitty ones. Like it started
Sure,
off
of
like
course.
trials, heartbreak, death, dishonor, all this. And then it was like, here's the comeback, Like, here's the comeback. We had our heat. We are fucking coming back now.
Yeah.
Excuse my French. We're on the Chris
It's
Van
okay.
Vliet
No,
show.
we're on the internet. You can say whatever you want. Yeah.
Oh, don't tell me that.
It's fine. So you go up there. You make the decision. You're going to dedicate. What is it? 9 months? Is it 12 months? Is it 6 months? That you're going to dedicate that chunk of time to be with Lance.
I wish it was longer. I had a really great time up there, just experiencing it. A very different culture. You wouldn't think that Calgary or that part of the world is.
Don't jiggle it around too much.
So much different than us. Sorry, I just like cool stuff. He's got some neat trinkets in this place. So.
It's just a green wall for everyone watching.
No. There's Ric Flair boots over there. There's belts over here.
So how long were you there?
So it was only 3 months. Like I said,
wow.
I wish it would have been longer.
But it's intensive. It's Monday to Friday, 9 to 5 type of thing?
It's the most time-intensive training you can get, I think, if possible. While it was around, of course, Monday through Friday. We did 9 to 3. So
wow.
we did about 6 hours, maybe like a little break in there in between for some food, but really nonstop. Like if you wanted lunch, you just ate on the side, but it wasn't like we were running sprints the whole time. A lot of psychology lectures and a lot of stories that would go on to help us in the future. Like obviously at the time, I didn't really know what they were talking about, but looking back, it's like, wow, I got a whole college course on this business outside of just the wrestling. It was like the politics of it, how you should carry yourself and how you should respect this business. So it was a very good crash course.
But I think what you're saying is something I've heard from a lot of other wrestlers, where it's like you need to get good training. Like there's going to be someone in and around your city that you live that could train you, but you're going to want to get good training. And more importantly, it'd be great to get training from someone who's been there. Yeah, of course, Lance has.
And it's different for everybody. Everybody's pathway is different. That's why I say, like, so many other guys, different situations than me, but they go a different path, and then they get to where they want to be. So I don't discredit anybody's training as long as they're training at a safe facility. Right. And like you said, someone that's had at least a cup of coffee in this business. Because it just adds to your credibility as a performer and things like that. But some people have to start from literally their backyard, and as we've seen if history tells us anything, that'll produce some hardworking wrestlers.
That's
really
true.
Strong stars,
Yeah. At what point during your rise or during your training did you decide I'm going to go with my birth name? I'm going to be Brian Pillman Jr. Because what comes along with that is a lot of good, but what comes along with that is also a lot of expectations.
Oh, it was actually pretty rough. A rough dilemma that I faced. It was a lot of dilemmas I dealt with early on. Just trying to figure out who I was, and then also who I am in the ring and who I am, outside the ring. But, Lance told me it would be wise to maybe consider using a different name. So that was actually his thought process, was that the expectations would be too high, and that coming from a place of a kid that didn't really grow up watching it, didn't really grow up studying it, wasn't super smart in the business, that he thought I would be exploited or exposed by using my own name so soon. But as we've seen throughout, sometimes you have to do the opposite of what people tell you, right? So you can take advice from people 100% and you can live other people's lives, or you take everything you can and there might be something that doesn't work for you, right? So there's been many times in my career where I've done the exact opposite of what people have told me, and that was the one thing that I think made it work for me, because I can't go out there and be anybody else. My story is who I am. Yeah. I'm wrestling because of who my father was, right? Mm-hmm. I'm wrestling for him, for his legacy. So it would have made no sense to me. I wouldn't have felt like I was doing my job going out to the ring if I was under the name of John sure. Saskatchewan or something. I don't know.
Great wrestling name, John Saskatchewan.
Boomer Scarborough. So, that's my favorite one.
After your father passed, you just kind of shut off wrestling out of your life?
Yeah, I was just because, like I said, I was so young that wrestling was brought into my life by my parents. So when he passed, and then my mother kind of sort of burned her bridges with the business, then it was taken away on that side.
And also with you, right?
Yeah, Well, for the most part, I lived with my mother till I moved out at the age of 13. So.
And who did you live with at the age of 13?
So I had a friend by the name of Paul Sperandio. And he
great
lived,
in-ring name.
I know, right? I know. I got some really good friends. Like a lot of my friends would make great wrestlers just as they are. Like I have some pretty cool friends.
So you said you moved out of mom's place. You moved in with Paul.
And his mom was a single mom, and I was like, shoot, if she can do it, then my mother should be able to do it. But she couldn't hack it, right? She was dealing with her demons and stuff. We won't get into it too much, but his mother was a really hard-working woman. She worked at Home Depot. And my aunt and uncle would help her with groceries and stuff to kind of feed my fat butt just because I was a big kid, man. I was eating. I was playing football.
Yeah.
I was eating everything.
Wow.
I was just like, give me your whole house. I'll eat it up.
So you didn't watch wrestling basically all of your youthful years then?
Yeah, a lot of those years were spent playing video games and just kind of having my own little escape from this world. We all have our entertainment or our escape. It was more like if I'm going to play football, I can stay out of trouble, play video games. Why not? I wasn't out doing drugs. Like I said, I tell people this all the time. Football saved my life because football kept me out of the gangsters and the people doing drugs. And it kept me in with the kids that were, because you had to have good grades to play football, right?
Right.
So
yeah.
You had to get your work done, and I loved hitting people in the head. So if I wanted to get that adrenaline rush of knocking somebody clean on their ass, then I had to give my grades. So I made sure to just maintain, just because I was so smart, I could do whatever I wanted. I just maintained just above a 3.0. And if I got too high, I made sure to skip class to bring it back down.
Balance it out.
I was like, shit, I can chill a little bit more. I'm at a 3.7. Shit, I ain't coming to school all week. I'm going to bring that back down to a 3.0.
So it wasn't until you got the corporate job and you started seeing the legacy your father had left that you went, man, there's something here for me. That's when you got back into wrestling.
Yeah, I was probably at the point where I was jumping off the cubicles and axe handling.
Remember you
people
saying this?
Yeah.
So this was like 4 years ago?
Gosh, yeah. Dude, time flies so fast in the wrestling world. Between hitting your bookings, flying out to the West Coast, flying here to New York, this, that, and the other. It's like all of a sudden 2 years has gone by. I can't even believe it's been a year since we've done the last one. It's
right, me neither.
Absolutely
and I've seen you a bunch of times since.
Yeah, oh yeah.
And now we're pretty much neighbors, so we're actually going to work out after this.
Yeah, he moved into my town just to be closer to me.
You don't have to tell, dude. I thought that was our secret here.
We're starting an empire here. We're building a Cincinnati empire.
So it was 4-ish years ago. I'm just trying to think of the storylines that would have been going on when you started watching wrestling again.
Oh yeah, so let's say I just turned 26. So
yeah,
or no, we'll say this. We'll say December 31st, 2017. I had my first match.
Yeah, so we're almost exactly 2 years. Yeah.
So then training would have started September 11th, 2017. It was my first day of training with Lance. So then before that September, I got laid off in July. So I got laid off in July. A month and a half later.
Yeah.
I'm at.
And he just happened to have an opening.
Yeah, I had been waiting. I had been on the wait list. So yeah, he didn't cut me in front of people. I had been on the wait list probably for 6 months.
Yeah.
So my job knew. They were like, oh, he's doing, so my job was very helpful with this.
Well, it might have been the double axe handles off the cubicle.
They're like, yeah, we'll just let him go with that next wave of guys, and in June we'll just let him go. Like, yeah.
In these 2 years, not even 2 years, now you've made an appearance. We've made 2 appearances with AEW.
Hey,
most
I'm
people
not counting them.
Most people have only seen one, a Double or Nothing.
Okay.
But you were part of the Casino Battle Royale.
Yeah.
How did that all come together for you?
What was the other appearance? Sorry.
Well, it was backstage. It was backstage during Jericho's famous "Little Bit of the Bubbly" promo.
That's true.
And if you watch this back again, you will see Jericho's going through before he says "a little bit of the bubbly," and he's making fun of people backstage. And he says to Brian, "Nice hair."
Yeah. He said nice hair. He called me an idiot. Yeah. Don't admit that.
Nice hair, idiot.
That's the feud.
Was it nice hair, you idiot?
Nice hair, idiot.
That was it.
That's the feud starter right there. So we can't leave that out. That's heat right there. That could be a potential title match in the future. You don't compliment my hair and then call me an idiot.
So it was Double or Nothing and All In.
Yeah. So
how did it come together for the...
No, it was Double or Nothing Battle Royale. It wasn't All In. It was
it was All Out.
All Out.
All Out.
That's right.
Yes.
All Out. That's
Jeez.
right. Yeah.
But it was Double or Nothing, Battle Royale, and then All Out. So how did the Double or Nothing booking come about for you?
Well, I'll tell you what. I've always, ever since I started trained with Lance Storm, so I've always kind of had a relationship with Chris Jericho. I've always kind of had a conversation going with him, and I think that's a big part of who he is helping out the younger guys. He's always had a hand with helping out second generation guys get going and stuff. So I really appreciate that. I think he appreciates the fact that I went to Canada and experienced that kind of life and went through Calgary. So I think Chris, what he sees in me is a guy that's willing to go out there and pay his dues and stuff. And I think that's why he's been kind of giving me these opportunities and these shots within their company. Cody was also someone that I met in Calgary while I was training. Cody Rhodes and Brandy Rhodes were booked for PWA Canada, Prairie Wrestling Alliance. A lot of cool wrestlers have been up through there. And I just sat there with him on the floor at the show. I was like, hey, man, any advice you can give me, just, like, let me know. And he's just like, hey, here's how it's going to be. Like, because he dealt with the same thing.
Right.
He had just dealt with the passing of his father years before that. So he was kind of in a similar boat. Like, here's what to expect. Here's where it's going to be harder, and here's where it's going to be a little easier. But he's like, as a whole, it's just going to be harder because the expectations are there. Lance basically said it's going to be a job from day one. There's no, like, play time. It's, business, because people are going to want to see you wrestle right from day one.
Right.
So it's just been trial and error, getting better on the fly.
Well, you signed with MLW very quickly.
They've developed me really well.
Yeah, you're in a great faction right now, the New Era Heart Foundation.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
What have you learned from someone like Davey, who's also second generation, tag team partner of yours? What have you learned? Well, I guess you're Teddy as well.
I think Davey has taught me a lot about, especially being that he's a spitting image of his dad, right? He's like, he's a lot bigger and taller, but his gimmick, more or less, is very similar in that of the British Bulldog, second generation, right? So what I've learned from Davey is just how much respect he has for the business. Just he has such a high regard for pure traditional wrestling, like just really knows his history on Japanese and American and all the wrestling there is, and that's what I've learned from him is just understanding that history will work out so much. It will reflect in your art. It will reflect in your mannerisms with people. It will reflect with your interactions online. If you really know what you're talking about, it'll show, right? Yeah. And Davey has shown me that. And Davey has shown me. I always say I'm like Davey's the angel on one shoulder, and Teddy is the devil on my. But in contrast, there's things I can't learn from Davey that I can learn from Teddy.
Like about cats?
Like about cats. What not to do. How to go 4 days without sleeping. There's a lot of things you can learn from Teddy.
Teddy,
how to drive for 30 hours straight and never stop.
Is he scared of flying?
I have no idea because he
drives everywhere.
I've been on planes with him. He drives from Texas to New Jersey, and I'm like,
that's
whoa.
Crazy.
He likes having his car and his cats too.
That's it.
You got to take care of the cat.
He's also, and
litter box in the Cadillac. All right, litter box in the cat.
I interviewed him the same day I interviewed you, and he's become a very different person in his time after jail. Like I feel like that's the defining moment for him. I feel like he has a lot better scope on life.
I think he's a very spiritual guy. I think he's definitely cleaned up his attitude, very much so. MLW is very happy with what they've gotten out of Teddy and also what they've gotten out of Davey and me. I think that whole thing was just the perfect storm, right? The trifecta, if you will, of three different wrestlers that all complement each other.
Yeah.
Even though my inexperience might be a hindrance, it's technically a compliment to them because they have all the experience in the world, right? So we got two guys that have all the experience in the world. One of them more in a traditional Japanese sense, and the other in more of a lucha sense of the word, because Teddy coming from being a big star in Mexico and Davey not even having had that many matches there. So it was really cool to just get that whole bowl of everything. And then me not knowing a clue, just coming in acting like a goofball. And they were just like, all right, this is the perfect dynamic. And then our real life situations became our wrestling characters. And that's the most organic and that is the most beautiful way to present pro wrestling, in my opinion.
Do you think that you'd be in the position that you're in now if your father was still with us?
I'm not sure what the position would be, right? So it's really hard to ask that. It's hard to say, what if this, what if that. I try to look at other guys like, that or their fathers are still here and they're wrestling and stuff. So maybe a guy like Cody Hall, for example. Scott Hall is still here. Cody Hall is a whole nother beast, right? Cody Hall is 7 foot tall. I think he's done a great job of differentiating his style from his father. But what would be different between me and him is he went to Japan and he has a career there. So who knows? Who knows if my father was here, he might have said, "All right, kid, you're going straight to Japan." And I know the Von Erich boys. Kevin's still here, and his kids went and trained in Japan right off the bat too. So who knows? And then
Austin Gunn was going to go to Japan, I believe.
Yeah. So a lot of so sometimes when
Billy's son.
I guess when your parents want what's best for you, they kind of dictate that a little bit. Right?
Maybe
they kind of choose your first. All right, this is where I want my kid to train. So for me, it was like, well, shit. I got me, and then I got me, and then that's it. So I'm gonna choose to go to Lance's school.
Yeah.
And make the most of it.
Yeah.
So who knows? I might not be sitting here next to you if my father was here. I might be over in Japan training or having a match or working for some company or maybe my father started his own company. Who knows?
Yeah.
Maybe AEW or maybe I don't know. Who knows?
Yeah. How old were you when he died?
4 years old.
4. And how was 4 years old? That's tough. How was the news delivered to you?
Like I said, it was a weird time being in wrestling and everything was being filmed and stuff. So, we were gathered around, it was almost like a photo shoot thing. It was weird, man. Like when I was told, I feel like they wanted to get our reactions recorded or something. It was fucked up. Yeah. So I didn't know. I thought it was work for real. Yeah. I didn't think.
Who was it that told you?
I can't remember. I just remember being circled around with my mom. And it was like it felt like I was supposed to cry. I was like, am I being filmed? I don't know. I guess as a kid, being all confused, I thought it was a work, Obviously at the time, I didn't know what the word work meant. But I knew, I felt like something was up, I was like, nah, he's coming back. He'll
Is this
that.
WWE trying to cover their asses? It wasn't our fault that he died.
Yeah, I don't know. That's the thing. I don't think it's anybody's fault but his own fault, right? He chose to pursue a life of extreme travel and of extreme physical abuse, which coincides with substance abuse. Whether you want to admit it or not, it's not like these guys were just crazy for doing all these drugs. No, they had a complete reason for doing what they did, and whether it was painkillers or alcohol or whatever, these guys were beating each other up all the time. Right?
Yeah.
So if nature says this, then nature would depict that maybe they would do this, right? It's just kind of a cycle. There's, it was more than just him that passed away from the lifestyle, right?
Well, do you think CTE plays a factor there too?
It's really hard to say.
Obviously, we don't scientifically know.
There's a lot of research with that, and if you meet a lot of guys, you might a lot of older wrestlers, you might notice a few screws loose there. So it's it really depends on what kind of worker you are, what kind of wrestler you are. I can tell you now that a lot of the stuff these guys are doing today, not talking about anything acrobatic or psychology wise, but just some of the bumps these guys are taking, they're spiking their heads and stuff. I spiked myself one time, and I'm never doing that again. I see guys spike themselves a lot, and it's just whoa, dude. You need to chill out.
So if you're talking over a match with somebody and they say, I want to do X, Y, and Z, what are your limitations? What do you say? I'm not comfortable doing that. I'm
usually pretty comfortable with stuff. Like I said, a lot of things in wrestling can be done multiple ways.
Yeah, true.
So if a guy's like, hey, this is my shit, and I'm like, oh, that's nice shit, and then I might take it my way. Yeah. And I might be like, hey, man, sorry I don't spike myself on that move. I'm just going to take it like a normal pro wrestler would. You know, I was trained by a professional wrestler named Lance Storm.
By one of the best technical wrestlers ever. Yeah.
So then they're like, oh, cool. And then I'm like, yeah, that's the end of it. And then they're like, do you want to do a Canadian Destroyer? I was like, no. And then we go to So it's really, that's the only move I've never really done or given or taken. Canadian Destroyer.
That one looks relatively safe, though.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. But I just never done it. And I'm like, why try it on a random show with Joe Blow?
Yeah.
You know, if I'm going to take one, let it be with Teddy.
In your match with Chris Jericho.
Yeah, or in my match with Chris, or with if I have a match with Teddy, Teddy's the master of it.
There you go. Yeah.
But
P.D. Williams could give it to you.
It's one of those things too where I'm not afraid to add to something new. I'm not afraid to try something new. I've always added new tools to my toolbox.
Yeah.
I've always added new moves to my repertoire.
Yeah.
And like Lance always taught us, like you don't have to do everything right away. I can start getting crazier and more risky. But the way I see it at the age I am now, having a college-educated background, having a background in business and understanding longevity and depreciation, I think my body is an investment of itself. So if I can make it last as long as I can and stay in the gym and stay doing yoga and staying strong, then why not focus on those things instead of spiking myself all the time?
Sure.
Yeah.
So what is your favorite Brian Pillman Sr. match?
Oh, man, I got to go back. I got to hit up my boy Mark Marrow on this one, man.
Okay.
Yeah, I love that match he had with Mark Marrow. Look it up. I think it's like something Fall Brawl or something. Fall Brawl 93 maybe. One of those brawls.
Okay.
But, dude, I get all those old names mixed up because they just name everything Brawl.
Brawl for all.
Super Brawl.
What is your favorite Brian Pillman Jr. match?
Ooh, that's a tough one. That is a tough one.
If someone's, watching this for the first time and, getting to know about you and they want to go watch one of your matches, what's the match that you would send to a promoter? Or what's the match that, you would say to someone, oh, you want to know what Brian Pillman Jr. is all about? Watch this.
Well, I guess the coolest thing is that one of those matches is quite recent. Very rarely, because, starting off fresh, it's like no one's going to tell you, oh, you had a 5-star match. You know what I mean? Like, it's just you got to – there's certain levels to that, right? Not only do you have to earn the respect of being a good worker for people to say your work's good, right? Like, it's like – it could be great from day one, but they're like, well, he's just still a little green, still a little green around the ears, kid. But after you've wrestled a couple years – so you've wrestled a couple years, you're starting to have some okay matches. And then someone says, oh, Pillman had a good match. Oh, Pillman had a good match. It's like, oh, shit. And the internet's like, what? A good match. What's that? So, but I've heard a lot of good feedback, and I personally really enjoyed sharing the ring with Austin Aries just recently on MLW.
Sure.
And being that MLW, obviously I've had a lot of killer matches on the indies, and I would say that's my strength is on, like, the indies, the house shows where I can really just be me. Not all of those are filmed. Right, not all of those are good footage where I really want to show somebody, but this match with Aries was something that I really was proud of. I showed a lot of people, and a lot of people watched it, and it was the main event of that show. Yeah. And while it is a shorter match, it's a TV style match. It kind of showcases my personality and who I am. So
yeah. So what goals do you have? 2 years into the business now, probably 22 more to go, if not 32 more. What are the goals that you have maybe in the immediate future and then, as we continue to look a decade or two from now?
Oh, I had something else I was going to say, but never mind on that one.
Oh, well,
I was just going to say I had some great matches in England too because the wrestlers there are so they're just so keen. They're so on point.
Yeah.
It took me a while to get to that level while I was over there.
That speed. British style,
Yeah. And David Starr was one of the guys that really pushed me to my limit. And while it wasn't my favorite match, it was one of the matches I think I learned the most from.
Okay.
Yeah.
Glad we circled
and
back to that.
And that's online too.
Okay.
David
there
Starr
we go.
match, yeah. Sorry. Just wanted to touch all the bases on there. And you said.
Yeah. So what are some of the goals that you have maybe in the immediate future, and then as we look ahead 5 and 10 and 20 years?
Yeah, that's so tough because like I said, everything's happened so fast for me. It's like if I set a goal, it's like. A week later, that goal's been crushed, right?
Well, then you better start setting bigger goals.
So that's what I'm saying. I've been trying to slow things down a little bit and really focus on what I'm doing with Major League Wrestling, right? Because all these other opportunities coming from different companies, this, that, and the other, those companies aren't going anywhere. You know what I mean? Ring of Honor's not going anywhere. All Elite Wrestling's not going anywhere. We know damn well WWE ain't going anywhere.
Right.
They're going to be around for a while. It's a huge plethora of wrestling out there. And while everybody's been kind of focused on what the grass is greener over here, or this is shiny over here, I've quickly realized in the humblest way possible to water my grass where it's at. So right now my goals are kind of within MLW to sort of keep my yard freshly watered.
That's the best phrase.
And honestly, too, because if other companies see that I'm busting my ass here, they're gonna wanna bring me in, right? But if I show separatism, and if I show I really don't want to be here, I want to go work for them because they got more money or this or the other, then it's like, are you gonna do that the next time?
Yeah.
Like, are you gonna do that at the next company you're at? And the next company, are you always gonna be kind of trying to leave and trying to get going, or is like, I got this contract still. Why don't I bust my ass here?
Yeah.
And honestly, I wish all the best luck to guys at the WWE or wherever they're at, with people that leave because they want more work. To me, that shows you're ambitious and you want more business. You want more matches. You want more work. And to me, if you want to work harder and not necessarily make more money, it's because you love wrestling, right?
Yeah.
So if I want to work harder, I'm on a contract with MLW. I'm going to work harder there. I'm going to work harder, have good matches there.
Yeah.
Because the people are going to see it.
For sure.
People are going to watch me.
Yeah.
They don't care what acronym I'm under.
The
other companies are going to see it. The other
Yeah.
companies are going to be, oh, shit, this kid's kicking ass.
Yeah. Well, and I think the biggest thing you touched on there is the grass is always greener where you water it.
Exactly.
It's so easy to go, oh, man, my career would be great in that company or that company or that company. Mm. Or you can take what you have in front of you. And this doesn't just apply to wrestling.
Yeah.
This applies to any aspect of your life. That you go, if I actually just work on this and focus on this, I can make this the best possible scenario.
Yeah. And like I said, the mobility of where I've been going has been so quick. Why don't I just settle down for a little bit and actually, hone my craft within that TV landscape? I think MLW has great production value.
They do.
Great crew.
Yep. And you're still so young.
Yeah,
26.
Yeah.
So you can
and chill out. Let me breathe a little bit.
Yeah,
play some more video games. I'm not trying to be a 24/7 like The Rock tomorrow. Rock wakes up at 4.
Rock wasn't even that guy until what? 10 years ago, maybe?
Yeah.
I mean, probably doing a lot of that same stuff before, but Rock's plate wasn't this full until he was
and he's a busy guy. You look at guys like Jericho, they're busy guys, you know. So.
Jericho's, close to 50.
I've had people like, why don't you get into movies and start a rap album? I'm like, I just started wrestling.
A rap? Are you a rapper?
I freestyle on the side.
So sorry, I didn't know this.
No, I'm kidding. But like...
No, I don't think you are kidding.
This was like a joke, but you see a guy like Chris Jericho or like Enzo Amore that are making music on the side, and then I think of the music that inspires me, which is like hip hop, rock. Like I like a lot of different things. So I'm like, oh well, what if I did make music? What if I did do acting? But that's the thing, you don't want to spread yourself too thin.
Yeah.
Right?
Well, I think the thing that I'm realizing
I just don't want you to make me freestyle on your show.
Oh, so he does freestyle. There it is.
I don't want to right now. I just woke up.
Fine. We'll look at your Instagram story. The day that this interview drops.
Take a look at the gram.
Take a look at the gram.
Take a look at my fam. You know where I come from.
It's already happened.
You know who I stand. It's already happened. I just can't stop.
We got to get you verified on Instagram
until we call the cops.
Wow.
I know verification on the gram is
the toughest.
It's not easy.
Yeah.
But there was a little taste of my bars that I just spit. And that was all freestyle too.
That was good. We didn't plan that.
I didn't write that.
No.
But I'm not a rapper.
A freestyler?
But I'm not a rapper.
Okay. Huh?
But I'm not a rapper.
Is this the hook of your song?
That's a meme that you don't get. It went.
It did. I'm sorry.
Woo! But the viewers will know.
The people that know.
But I'm not a rapper.
The people that know.
But
and everybody else is with me going,
I'm not a rapper. I'm a fighter. I'm a wrestler. I'm an athlete. And I'm a Saiyan. I'm a Super Saiyan.
Who's
Tell me I'm not.
What?
Tell me I'm not.
Is this a meme too?
Do it. Do it.
We've circled right back around to promo mode now. Started the interview with a promo.
All right, I'm done. On to the next question.
That the best question you got for me? Yeah, I don't know about that one. Well, thanks for making this happen. We're going to go lift some weights.
Yeah, we got to do that. That's what we do because we're men and we're grown.
Yeah, well
that was an abrupt ending.
In the last year, though, since we did this interview, have you put on some size? What's changed for you there?
I want to say the fitness has gravitated more towards being lean and sexy. I think if you're under 6 foot, and I'm about 5'11" and a half. I'm about 6 foot, but
yeah.
You're never going to be the biggest guy in the room.
Yeah.
And Rip Rogers always told me it's better to be a sexy fuckboy than a big fat lineman.
Yeah, you're right. You're never going to be the biggest guy.
Yeah.
And
so it's like, why not focus on
As long as you can embrace, I'm not a body guy.
Yeah,
you know. Then,
well, like I think I like body as in like tone and definition and sex appeal.
Yeah.
But I think big iron, sledgehammer, pick up a guy and throw him in the air. Like I don't think I should go for that. Like I don't foresee that look for me.
But let's be honest, the sex appeal.
Well, let's be honest, we got to get jacked.
The sex appeal comes from there, right here. It's this.
Let's be honest, we still want to get, we still want to pipe them up. You see that tan?
Wow. Man, jeez.
Let's be honest. We all want to be jacked. We all want to be Brian Cage. Let's just be honest.
He's very large.
Yeah.
I think he has trouble traveling on airplanes because he's so large.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
A lot of big airplane guys. I hate airplanes sometimes. My knees, yeah.
Huh.
My knees will get you.
Huh. Well, thank you. I'm so pumped. It's not even been 2 years. I'm so excited for everything you have going on. 2 years from now, think of how much further you're going to be.
Yeah, that's the scary thing, and that's why I said I just want to sit back and be able to take a minute and make some decisions for myself, personally and professionally.
Yeah.
So
thank you.
It's nice to settle down, and like I said, I appreciate MLW for all the opportunities. I appreciate AEW for creating a whole new economy for wrestlers to search for and to strive to be and to work for. So.
And who knows? Maybe you'll follow in your father's footsteps and go to WWE one day.
Yeah, and that's the thing. That's completely an option too. I don't want people to think that I'm going anywhere just yet. I'm sitting right here where I'm at, and I'm learning and I'm progressing as a professional.
Well, that's the thing. You're going to stay right here, going to keep getting better, and then when you are ready to go on to something else,
boom goes the dynamite. I'm lightning in a bottle.
You know what show's called
Jr.
Dynamite? Oh.
Shit. Dang it. Why are you blowing it? That was supposed to be a subliminal message. That was supposed to be a hidden Easter egg.
Sorry, everyone.
Now they know.
That's it.
There we go. We blew it. Oh, baby.
Well, there's the interview. Thank you so much for checking it out.
Oh.
Wow.
Sorry, that's the tingling.
Okay.
The tingling of that big Ryback.
Yeah, we took, if you're following Brian on Instagram, we took Ryback's pre-workout.
Instagram at FlyingBrian41.
There it is. We're about to work out. We are at the gym here. Where are we? We're in Newport, Kentucky?
Newport. We're here at Crunch in Newport where
let's
all
just
the
go
hot
do this.
chicks go. Yeah. Why are we talking to you losers?
But we'll walk and talk with you as we get out of the car here. Thanks for checking it out. If you don't already, please subscribe. Woo! Woo! It's very echoey here.
That's that Ric Flair drip. Go.
Yeah.
Woo! On a bitch.
Thank you for taking the time to do this interview.
Thank you for giving me the time to do this interview.
Okay, yeah.
Thank you for waking me up early. Had a great start to the day.
Early, 11 o'clock in the morning.
That's the morning.
Eastern Standard Time.
I said I wake up every evening with a big smile on my face, and it never feels out of place. And you're still probably working at a 9-to-5 pace. I wonder how bad that tastes.
Yeah. That was not a freestyle. I got a real beard going on
I invented
here.
those lyrics.
Wow. So there you go. You can follow Flying Brian 41. You can follow me at Chris Van Vliet, and we're about to
get pumped in.
About to
teach him how to do a pro wrestling workout.
I'm gonna die, aren't I?
I might chop you a few times.
Ugh.